Hello, everybody. Heart-led one, truth seeker, freedom lover. I'm going to talk this morning about the accumulation that we call aging, when in fact it is a preventable and reversible accumulation of stress over time. Okay, this is one of the fundamental messages of Hanna Somatics and of Thomas Hanna, is that what we sort of chalk up to getting older is in fact an accumulation of stress, right? And we all kind of know this on a certain level. We can feel that there's a lot of stress in the world, especially right now. And that stress could be personal, that stress could be interpersonal, and that stress could be also global, meaning that it's a stress that many, many humans on this planet are experiencing collectively. Now, individually, we go through our timeline, our life from birth to death, and each experience that we have, literally everything that you've ever experienced, came with a muscular impact. It came with a response in your whole body, your soma, to something either in your external environment or something in your internal environment, or both, right? And these things are happening simultaneously, meaning it's not our thoughts, creating our biology, or our biology creating our thoughts. It's simultaneous both at the same time, which can be kind of hard for our minds to grasp, that these things happen concurrently for the most part, right? Now, of course, there is sometimes stimulus and then the response to stimulus, but more often than not, when we're talking about a pattern, it's happening simultaneously. We're only aware of one piece of it at a time, right? So how this kind of looks in terms of the work that I do and the work that the people in my program are doing is that we can actually release the muscular impact of our life experiences and of our stress patterns. It's done through a very specific way of moving our bodies that is innate and natural to really all vertebrates. It's something that cats and dogs do all the time. It is a contraction and then very slow release of a muscle or groups of muscles, all the way to the point that the muscle is completely relaxed. And if you do this multiple times, you will have a new muscle length of whatever that muscle is, right? So Hanna Somatics is not like this method that somebody made up, right? More so than it is just a system that is created around this very innate nervous system function that most human beings just aren't utilizing, right? And the cost of not utilizing it is what we call getting old, is what we call aging, is being stuck or feeling tight throughout your body, maybe in your hips, your shoulders, your neck, maybe in your jaw, feeling this sense of constriction in the way that you're moving that just increases with time and just increases with age. And depending on the kind of life that you've had and the kind of physical things that you've been through, you could be like me and, by the time I was 26 years old, I was living in chronic pain and I had a lot of muscular tension that I was contending with on a regular basis. Now, I could make a whole nother video about how this has affected my psychology, how this affected my relationships, how this affected my ability to perform in my job, right, or in the world in general, to be constantly contending with an internal tension and suffering that I could not find relief from, you can find relief, generally speaking. A beer can give you some relief, an orgasm, a chat with a friend. There's all these little ways that we release our stress, right? But what I'm talking about that I've done and that my clients do with Hanna Somatics is a unraveling of all of what you've been carrying on a muscular level, and it's related to every other level of your consciousness over time. This is a powerful thing to do because, first of all, in Hanna Somatics, we do it very, very gently. It is such an incredibly kind way of treating your body and interacting with your body. In fact, that was one of the hardest things about it for me when I began, was that it was so gentle and kind, and how I was used to interacting with my body and with myself was a bit more heavy-handed, was a bit more aggressive, was a bit more authoritarian, right? That was the model that I had in interacting with my body. That was how I got myself to lose weight. That was how I got myself to get fit. That was how I got myself to do things, was basically just kind of, giving myself a smack on the ass and saying, all right, giddy up, girl, go ahead and do it. Do the hard thing, right? And I'm not saying that that doesn't have merit. It got me as far as it got me. But what took me to the next level of the relationship with my body that I always wanted was this level of attentiveness and tenderness and kindness that this way of moving literally has you embody. You begin to embody this very soft, very receptive, very responsive way of interacting with yourself. And that also is what's so transformative about this work, right? So this accumulation over time, as I said before, it's reversible, meaning we can turn back the clock. We can actually unravel and take apart the tensions that you've been carrying in your back, your neck, your shoulders, your stomach. We can retrain your nervous system to habituate, meaning make a habit of letting go instead of what your nervous system has been doing, what all of our nervous systems are trained to do, which is clench and hold on to everything. Right? Especially if you've gone through some fucking shit in your life, right? There's a tendency to hold on to protect ourselves, to survive. And that's all fine and good until we are inhibited by that, right? On like a literal, I can't move around in my body. I don't feel connected to my body. I don't feel free in my life. I feel like there's a block between me and the other people in my world that I want intimacy with, right? All of those things, they get addressed when you start developing this connection, these literal neural pathways to your own body and to your own self. And in that, things really start to transform. Your body shape will shift. You will literally shape shift. You will feel a sense of freedom and mobility in your body that you did not have before. You will meet a new version of yourself who is more kind and loving, who also is more self-respecting when you are connecting with yourself every day in this way, right? And it's not easy to create a new habit if the habit has been clenching and holding on and not allowing things to flow. If the habit has been to tightly hang on to the past, for example. That was a big challenge for me for a long time, was my propensity to hold on to the past, whether that was in the form of nostalgia or that was in the form of grudges or pain that I was holding on to about things that had happened, right? This all represents a holding on in my nervous system that I had habituated. And as I started to release, and as my clients and anybody who does this work, right? Because you don't need me to do this. You can learn it and you can do it on your own, right? But the people who want to dedicate their time to actually conditioning their nervous system to let go, it's enormous, the amount of change and shift that happens in your life, because forgiveness becomes easier, right? Actually forgiving yourself or forgiving others becomes an easier thing to do when your whole body is on board with releasing, instead of what happens a lot where we mentally or maybe even emotionally or spiritually, we want to let go of this pain, but our body's sort of there reminding us over and over every time we get triggered, every time we get upset, and we literally feel an ache or a tension or a pull in our body right deepest, like to our core sometimes, right? And maybe some of you know what I'm talking about, and maybe some of you don't, that when we get triggered, when we get upset, it's a full body response. Our body's there to remind us, oh, no, we are not going to forget this. Because, like I said, there's this holding on that's been habituated, and it's unconscious. And so, like I've said, this is a holistic approach. We're talking about releasing accumulated stress over time that has been accumulating, and to start a new process, a new way of operating that involves literally allowing your body to relax and let go of the stress that would otherwise build up and build up and build up, right? So fully transparent, this is meant as a daily practice. Once you learn this technique and you learn how to move in this way, your body is going to want you to do this every day. It's going to let you know when it's holding on to stuff. It's going to start speaking to you, and you're going to have a very practical, very literal way to answer your body's deepest needs for peace and relaxation. And this is not in opposition to anything else. This is always because it's part of your innate nervous system functioning that you just haven't been utilizing. So in the beginning, when I was coming from my yoga background, I somehow thought that this was like instead of yoga. And I'm like, no. This is like supporting anything that I do with my body, whether it's yoga, whether it's mountain climbing. I see Cheyenne's here, so maybe surfing. Anything that you choose to do with your body is going to be supported by conditioning your nervous system to let go of habituated muscular contractions that otherwise accumulate. It's going to free you up to do what you want to do with your energy in the moment, instead of your energy being tied up in all these responses to stuff that already happened, to things that already occurred, right? So if you're really curious with what I've been talking about, with what I share, maybe you've had an experience with me, this is something that if you go deeper into it, your body and your life will transform in a huge way. And I don't say that lightly. If you want to go look at my client stories, people that I've worked with who have learned this way of moving, who've opened up their bodies and their consciousness and are now experiencing a whole new version of themselves, you can go to the link in my bio, Client Success Stories. More than that, I invite you to come tomorrow to the event that I'm doing. If you know about what's going on astrologically tomorrow, it's going to be a tough day, astrologically speaking. So if you can make 2 hours to just set aside to relax your body and to come back into your self energy, I highly recommend it. It's going to be from 11 to 1 p.m. tomorrow, PST. Okay, it's Uncover Your Somatic Radiance. The philosophy behind this is that when we release the patterns that have been accumulating and have been clenching and drawing our energy inward, right? It's hard to let that energy expand, whether that's in a conversation with another person, whether that's in the environment of your life, right? Like your living space or how you interact in the world, because all that tension in your body is literally pushing that energy inward where it can't come out. Well, when we start to release these tensions, right? When we start to release your body 360 degrees all the way around from its muscular clenching, then you're going to start feeling this energy start to expand outward into your extremities. This energy that maybe was just trapped in your head or trapped in your heart, trapped in your, head and emotional center. It's going to start spreading out into the rest of your form. And from there, you start to become a more radiant human being, meaning that other people can feel and sense your energy of peacefulness, your energy of calm, your energy of being a self-governing, sovereign organism, right? That feels and responds to their feelings. And that is so inspiring. And that is what I want to see more of in the world. That is what my program Radiance is all about, giving you the power to do this for yourself, right? But come tomorrow if you can. You can sign up with the link in my bio, Uncover Your Somatic Radiance, and just start to take a little bite of what I've been talking about here today, because it takes time and practice. It doesn't all happen in 2 hours, although a lot will happen in 2 hours, but it doesn't all happen in 2 hours. Just as it didn't take 2 hours for the lifetime patterns of contraction that you're feeling in your body, they didn't start 2 hours ago. They've been going on. So the fact that we can release things as quickly as we do in somatics is actually remarkable, considering how long it takes for these patterns to accumulate, right? And the reason that it happens so quickly is because our bodies actually want this. Our bodies really crave this. Our nervous system craves relax, release, comfort, and peace, right? And sometimes we think we have to go through some kind of catastrophe. We have to go through some kind of misery or struggle in order to get there. But with the method I'm going to show you tomorrow, I'm going to be challenging that belief. We're going to be challenging that belief a little bit, that maybe it doesn't have to be hard or painful to let go. Maybe it could be comfortable. Maybe it could be easeful. Maybe it could be even blissful to let go, right? As long as we're doing it in a way that is fully aligned with where your nervous system is at, right? And so that's what we're going to explore tomorrow as well. So thanks for listening today. I had a lot to say this morning. I haven't gone live in a while and I miss it. I want to come back and do lives with you guys every week like I was doing for a while, because there's been so many huge, amazing shifts. Yeah, I can't wait to see you again, Cheyenne. Shay. We just met at Joshua Tree Music Festival, and yeah, it's wonderful to work with you. But yeah, there's just so much I have to share because I've been marinating in all of this. I've been working with some really inspiring people, clients, colleagues, and yeah, I'll have more to say. So check back in. I'll see if I can go live next week and maybe make this a weekly thing again. Let me know in the comments if there's specific topics around somatics that you'd like me to explore. And I hope you can see you tomorrow. Okay. Ciao. Bye-bye.